Welcome to Home Brew by J.W. Martin Real Estate, where we uncover the true stories of what's brewing in South Carolina's local business scene. I'm Joey Martin, and each week we sit down with the ones who are pushing through the grind. Business owners, creators, and community leaders who have fought through the tough times and come out stronger. No fluff, just real stories, smart insights, and a whole lot of lessons learned the hard way. Let's dive in. Today I'm here with Jimmy Sorrells. And Jimmy, it sounds like you've got your hands in a lot of different things, but primarily we're going to talk about a Liberty Networking Group, but let's explore a few different things with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your business.
Yeah, so I've been married for 22 years. I have 4 kids, 12 and under, that we homeschool.
Okay.
And I worked for Kellogg for about a decade, and I got laid off in 2019. And I was like, I didn't want to go through that again. And that's basically what started my entrepreneur journey. I eventually found merchant services, and I'm with Upstate Merchant Advocates, where I help businesses pay less in their monthly processing fees and to run efficiently. So I'm an independent payment process provider, which means I'm not captive to one hardware or software. You can think of it similar to an independent insurance agent. And then through
Okay.
that avenue, I got into networking. I was in about 5 or 6 different network groups and leadership in some of them. And I joined a new organization at the time. This was around 2021, called Businesses for Liberty. They promote liberty-minded businesses all across the U.S. And being in the networking and joining this organization is where I got the idea to start Liberty Networking, which is a network organization geared towards patron entrepreneurs and professional salespeople. I had never seen or heard of anything like that. And it's a niche, but also anybody is welcome. So we started in Taylor, South Carolina. We had 6 people at the first meeting, February of 2021. And now we've grown to 24 chapters currently in 2 states.
Holy cow. That's quite a bit of growth in just a short amount of time. So 2021 is when you got started and already got 6 chapters going on.
24 chapters.
24 chapters. Holy
And
crap.
that's not the 5 or 6 that I've shut.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. My goodness. And so you said you guys are open to all sorts of different businesses. Do you guys limit? I've been a part of some networking groups over
Okay.
the years, and some of the ones that I've been a part of, they limit it to one person from that type of profession. Do you guys do that as well?
Yeah, the basics of a network organization where it's one industry represented, but now we do have, for like instance, like insurance and marketing, there are multiple seats. Like we have life insurance, health insurance, videographer, social media marketing, because some people specialize in those specific things. But yes, it is one industry seat per chapter.
Okay.
And that's part of you having that exclusive seat represented in your chapter. But in Liberty Networking, we have an abundance mentality. So you have access to the whole organization, to all of the chapters and all the members, not just your chapter.
Okay. I love that. An abundance mindset, man. I'm big on that for sure.
Absolutely.
And so let's hear a little bit about your backstory and your entrepreneurial journey. It sounds like you weren't always an entrepreneur. You were working with Kellogg for a period of time, and then you got started in the entrepreneurial side of things. Let's talk a little bit about that, if you will.
Yeah. That wasn't really modeled for me growing up. And I had one uncle that owned basically a ditch digging business where he buried cable and stuff. And my cousins, his sons, they had all the cars and the motocross and all that. And so I knew something was different, but it was not modeled for me. And so after college, I went to North Greenville College at the time. And after college, I got a job, and I got married and working jobs. And I got with Kellogg, and that was a good salary job. It was able to support my family. And I was there for 10 years. But when I got laid off, I was like, if I thought this was solid, this could happen at any time. And I was like, I don't want to go back to that. So I did take a commission sales job for about a year and a half. Turned out not to
Mhm.
be there was just like no culture, and telephone calls are not, it's sitting in an office is not my personality.
Right,
So
right.
the whole time I was there, I was looking for other opportunities and talking to franchises and just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And that's when I came across merchant services. I only knew I could control my schedule and I could make residual income. And so I started learning that industry, and I joined a network organization about a month or maybe two, very soon after I started merchant services industry. So when I joined networking, I also didn't know anything about that. So I was really learning two different industries at the same time. And
Yeah.
I joined other network organizations, and I just started learning how to really, the basis of everything I do is building relationships. That's what it all comes down to. And it's, to me, it's like in merchant services, it's similar to a financial advisor or real estate or mortgage lender. You got to be in it for the long haul. This is not a turn and burn. You're not just selling a widget. And so as you build those relationships, sometimes it's 2 years later when somebody comes back to you and they're ready for your business, for you to help them with your services. So I started learning that through networking and how to do that properly. And I had in the one of the groups I joined, I had some really good networkers that helped me, and I learned from them. And I started picking up pieces, and then I joined other network groups. And I'm like, oh, this works well here. I don't like the way this works. And I just took all of that. And when I started Liberty Networking, it was really, initially it was just a meetup. It was like, okay, this is something different. Let's see. It's networking. That's what I'm doing to grow my business. I'm not outdoor knocking. So
Right. Right.
I have my own network group, right? And then that was in February. And then so by June, we were ready to launch our second chapter. And so in May, the month before, I formed a LLC, and we had about 24 people coming on a regular basis for the first
Wow.
chapter.
That's
And I
fantastic.
realized, okay, yeah, I realized people like the structure and the way it's set up. Like I said, the basics of a networking group is there, but the way that you run it, how you operate it, the expectations, all those things are, in my opinion, I try to set it up differently than other organizations. And
Sure.
so people like that. And it just started to grow. So then by December of 2021, we had 6 chapters. And June of 2022, we had 12 chapters. And we've just continued to grow. There's chapters here in the upstate, South Carolina, the Midlands, the Low Country, and then we also have a chapter up in Charlotte.
Wow, man. That's awesome. That's really cool that you've grown it that way and completely organically. Yeah, man. That's awesome. It's something that, getting out and networking is really how I built my business. And it seems to be a
Okay.
dying art.
I would
People have,
agree.
people have gotten so comfortable behind a computer screen and on their phones that they've
Yeah,
gotten a little scared to talk to a human being face to face anymore.
that's a good point. I think part of the success initially was, this was in 2021, and people were just tired of virtual meetings.
Yeah.
And so I made, been a policy since we started, is no virtual meetings outside of leadership training. Obviously, we got leadership all over the state, 2 states, but the actual meetings, I want to meet with you. I don't shake your hand and look you in the eye. And so that's been the standard. And people were just tired of virtual meetings. And I think that, so yeah, that,
Yeah. As, with my company, I have, 30 some, and there's just something lost in the virtual meeting. Half the time people don't have their cameras on. So they're,
right.
they're probably, and they're muted. So they're probably scrolling through TikToks or watching TV or something. And then you just don't get the emotion. You can't see the expressions on their face when they're obviously when their screen's off and they're muted. So
They're just checking a box. They're not present.
exactly right. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Just getting back to face, good old face to face contact, shaking hands, making eye contact, getting to know one another face to face like that and building relationships, man. That's what it's all about for sure. And that's, like I say, it's with, in our industry in particular, in real estate, it seems to be, like I say, a dying art. I think entrepreneurs period have gotten so comfortable looking for other ways to just get their name out there. There's really no cheat code to it. To just getting out there and meeting someone face to face organically. I remember when I first got started in my business, I joined the Chamber of Commerce and Rotary Club, and
Yeah.
I'm also a Freemason, so I'd go to the Masonic Lodge, and that's less networking there, but civic organizations and things like that was how I really built the basis of my company, and so it sounds like you're taking it beyond that. It sounds like what you're doing is, from what I was reading on one of the blogs that you were featured in, It sounds like it's a place to come out, relax, have fun, just have a conversation with someone, meet someone else who's an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs naturally have something to talk about.
Right.
And so it sounds like you're really creating a good atmosphere for people to just have fun and chat and share common
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, that's a big culture is very important to us at Liberty Networking and the atmosphere. We do like to have fun. It's not rigidly, the meetings do have structure. We have accountability. We take attendance and all that, but the meetings are set up to be a fun environment. And we're not like, we're all adults, right? So we're not going to babysit you and say, oh, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. We expect you to, if you're going to grow your business, you're going to put in the time and effort to be there and make those connections. Yeah. So I tell people our ROI in networking is return on involvement. So not showing up is half the battle, but I can set up the atmosphere. I can set up the structure. I got all that, but I can't force you to build the relationship. You have to do that work. So just showing up, becoming a member and showing up does not necessarily get you referrals. Now it may in some cases for a handyman that's pretty easy to refer, but most industries, you're going to have to work. People want to know and trust you. I'm just creating the environment for you to meet those people. And also, and we've had businesses form out of connections made through Liberty Networking. We've had lifelong friends made. So it goes beyond that. And I always encourage our members to get together for cookouts and do other things outside of business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to cultivate those relationships you're making. And it sounds like it probably
Yep.
happens very naturally for those kind of things to happen too. So,
Right.
yeah, it sounds like a really cool thing you got going on there. How often do you guys meet?
So each chapter meets, they have their own date and time that they meet, but they meet biweekly. So every 2 weeks is a chapter meeting. And then we also have additional meetings outside of that. We do monthly socials. So a social is a networking meetup, but
Okay.
we do networking with a calls because at every single social, it rotates for the chapters that host that social. For
Okay.
instance, this particular month, the social is going to be at Top Golf, and we're going to be this Carolina Adaptive Golf is the nonprofit in that chapter. So whatever nonprofit, we allow one free seat per chapter for a nonprofit. So
Okay.
that is the nonprofit in that chapter. So that's who we're supporting and raising money through sponsorships. We do raffles, silent auctions, whatever. The chapter does their own thing to help raise money. To date, we've raised a little over $55,000 totally combined for nonprofits that we've worked with over the last couple of years. So we keep that total and keep a running tab of that. And one chapter right now, I believe it's Spartanburg, has raised a little over 4,000 is the goal for one social. And then in addition to that, we also do a training event for entrepreneurs. It's called Networking Blueprint. So we have a
Okay.
different speaker that's a member of Liberty Networking, and it's not about their business. This is about something that will help an entrepreneur or professional salesperson. And so we've been doing that for a couple of years. We just are launching that also in the Midlands. It's going to have their first networking blueprint this month. So it's exciting. Got a lot of good things going on. I have a couple other events that are not monthly, it's just events that I ended up planning because I had the idea. I know because like I got time to do this, but next month in September, we have one coming up called Healthy Connections. It's everybody in Liberty Networking in the health space. So we got panelists and speakers and all that. And then October, we have one called AI in Action. It's about using AI in your business. And I have 5 speakers for that event.
Wow. Man, it sounds like you're a busy guy.
Yeah, a little bit. It's fun though. I love what I didn't know when I started like initial emergent services and networking is that I love working with entrepreneurs and helping them to grow their business. That's what I eventually learned. I know whenever somebody, merchant services is just a service but it can help a merchant save a lot of money. But
Hmm.
in networking, if somebody comes and they make a connection and they make a sale, that ultimately helps provide for their family. And that's the big goal. I get to work with and help entrepreneurs in both of my businesses. And I feel like I'm doing what God called me to do and what I love to do.
That's incredible. And we can certainly relate on that, on that common ground right there. I love to help
Sure.
other entrepreneurs, and I love to hear about some of the struggles and challenges that other entrepreneurs have had, because if it's something I can help with, then I'm Absolutely. I think entrepreneurs are some of the most selfless people out there. They're willing to share advice and give advice selflessly in order to help someone else grow. And so I think, getting them together in a group like you're doing is just super, just really cool, super nice of you to do. And so I can certainly relate to where you're coming from.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. So, and you said you guys currently meet, do you meet at a variety of places? At the Greenville one, that'd be closest to, my, office is located in, I have a Clemson office and a Seneca office in South Carolina. But,
Okay.
as far as the chapter that's closer to this area would be Greenville. Is that correct?
We have a Easley and a Powdersville chapter would be the closest to you right now.
Okay.
And the chapters meet every week. To answer your question, chapters meet in all kinds of locations. We have them in business offices, churches, restaurants, coffee shops, breweries. We got some that meet in breweries. So all across assisted living facilities, we got two that meet in those. And actually, I never would have thought of that, but it works out great. They love us there. They take care of us. They got enough space. So yeah, the Easley and Powdersville would be the closest to you. We also have a growth coordinator, and her goal is to launch chapters. She's got over 22 years experience in networking. And then Gerald, so that's Liz Dwyer as a growth specialist. Gerald is our development specialist, and he's helping to grow some chapters. He takes care of a lot of the back end stuff with attendance and things like that. But Liz is focused on launching new chapters. Our two newest one is Greenwood and Fountain Inn. But if you go to libertynetworking.org, you can see you just go to chapters on there or events, and you can see all of the meeting date, times, and location, all the details. You can also see every industry that's represented in each chapter as well is on that. If you're a realtor and you wanted to visit, which a realtor is a hot seat. So
Oh yeah, I'm
our
sure
hot
it is.
seats that are pretty much in every chapter we say is a realtor, mortgage lender, financial advisor, personal insurance, and a nonprofit.
Yeah.
There are a couple of chapters that are in need of those, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, as far as sharing with the listeners, all the different places they can find you. I know you shared a couple there, but on social media, your website, what are the different places people can really find you guys and maybe reach out to you and see if there's some available spots for their particular
Yeah.
industry?
I'm pretty active on pretty much any social media. You can find me. My name is Jimmy Sorrells, and Liberty Networking. You can find me between those. The website is libertynetworking.org, O-R-G. The email is hello@libertynetworking.org. So those would be the easiest ways to find me. My contact's on all of those.
Okay. I'll certainly share your contact information with the listeners too, and links so they can find you as well. Jimmy, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and talk with you a little bit here. Wish you the absolute best of luck with Liberty Networking and your merchant services as well.
Thank
And
you.
man, it's been an absolute pleasure, and hope to have an opportunity to meet you in person sometime.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
That's it for this episode of Home Brew. If it resonated with you or gave you a fresh perspective, share it with someone else who's working hard to make their mark. Subscribe, stay curious, and remember, no matter the challenge, keep pushing forward because success is brewed one step at a time. We'll see you next time. Same place, new story.